rise. Oyez, oyez, oyez. Silence is commanded by this honorable commission. All those having business, draw near.
Thank you, and you may be seated at this time. I want to ask all of you now to check your cell phones, all right? I hate for your cell phone to go to the bed and breakfast because it takes a long and a lot of recouping to get it back, okay? And so please, ma'am, please, sir, check your cell phones and any other device that will interrupt these proceedings, that silence is commanded. As we move along, we're going to have our inspiration and our invocation come to us from Pastor Michael L. Kennard. I got it right? Content? Okay. From Savannah's First Seventh-day Adventist Church, all right? And the Bible that they gave me to read today says that Michael is the son of Greek immigrants and the oldest of 3 children, and was raised in Greek Orthodox Church. In 1991, he married his high school sweetheart. In 1996, he began to study the Bible, and soon after, he was baptized into the Seventh-day Adventist Church. He has been a pastor in Northern California Conference of the Seventh-day Adventists since 2001. He accepted the invitation from the Savannah Seventh-day Adventist Church and moved from Stockton, California, along with his wife, Regina, to begin preaching in June of 2022. And so he has been here since June of 2022. And I invite you now to come to the mic and give us your inspiration. And then when you get to the invocation and you get ready to ask us to go with you in prayer, I want to ask everybody to restand at that time. And then following the prayer, Commissioner Hodge will lead us into the Pledge of Allegiance. Pastor, the mic is yours.
Chairman Ellis and board members, I am honored to be here. Good morning to all of you. I'd like to focus in our inspiration this morning from Romans 8:38. And some of you know the chapter in Romans 8:28 that is very popular that says, "And we know all things work together for good for those who love God and those who are called according to his purpose." That is what most of us know. But later on in the chapter is what I want to focus in on, and that's Romans 8:38 and 39, and it reads, "For I am persuaded that neither death nor life, nor angels, nor principalities, nor powers, nor present things, nor things to come, nor height, nor depth, nor any other created thing shall be able to separate us from the love of God, which is in Christ Jesus our Lord." In 1996, the Lord found me a broken and empty man. I had been a terrible husband for the first 5 years of my marriage. I had been carrying the baggage of childhood with me into my marriage, and my wife was the recipient of a lot of anger and disrespect, and a young boy struggling to try to find his way. Then one night, May of 1996, Jesus gave me another chance.
Okay.
He found me, and reconciliation between God and my family and my wife began. As reconciliation began to take place and things began to change in life, everything was great. No one told me, though, that when you begin to walk with the living God, that sometimes your trials just begin. A year and a half later, after I'd given my heart to Jesus, my 3-year-old daughter was diagnosed with pontine glioma, an inoperable brain tumor on the brainstem. After 6 months fighting for my daughter's life, we buried her on August 2nd of 1999. And on that day, a part of myself, a part of my wife, and a part of our oldest son, firstborn, Ariana's brother, was buried with her. As a part of us was buried with her, God had promised that through all the experiences, as good and bad, He would still be with us. And He was. We weren't planning on having another child, but as I share with people when I'm talking on this topic, when you do husband and wife activities, you must expect husband and wife results. My wife became pregnant. My wife was depressed for a while because she did not know that if this child that was going to come into the world would have the same physical struggles and anomalies as our daughter did. 2 years later, on July 28th of 2001, almost within the hour of my daughter's passing, but 2 years later, our son Micah Emmanuel Luke Contis was born into this world. He was not born to replace my daughter. He was born so God can give us another chance to be parents to a small child. And so today, I stand here proclaiming to the board members and everyone behind me, I am persuaded that neither death nor life, nor angels or principalities, nor powers, nor things present, nor things to come, nor height, nor depth, nor any other created thing shall be able to separate us from the love of God, which is in Christ Jesus. The things of this world in the time that God has given us do not have to break us and paralyze us and mar us for the rest of our lives. We can choose through the love of God to clasp a hold of His hand and say, I trust you. Let us pray.
May we stand?
Father, I thank you for the opportunity of being here. I promised you in 2001 that I would share Ari's story wherever you took me and would have no clue it would be in Savannah, Georgia. I praise you for that opportunity. I ask that you be with all the hearts and minds that are in this room. We could come in this room and we put on smiles and faces, and many people do not know what's going on in the homes and the brokenness and the emptiness that we have. But you do. And in those moments, you are still there with us. Guide us to reach to you, for you will never let us down. Fill us with thy Spirit, and in this meeting today, may you be glorified. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen. Commissioner Hart.
I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. You may be seated. Pastor, we are especially humble and proud that you are willing to share your testimony and your story with us today. And just to let you know how much we appreciate you, we apologize for we had some electrical difficulties and things up here in the midst of your inspiration, but we do find comfort in the words that you have given us, and we look forward to seeing you some more without the electronic abilities we had up here. But the commissioners needed to be on so they could see and hear. Thank you again for what you have done with us today, and thank you for being here. Roll call.
Chester A. Ellis, Chairman.
Present.
Dean Kicklighter, District 7, Chairman Pro Tem.
Here.
Melinda Scott Hodge, District 2.
Present.
Anthony Wayne Noah, District 1.
Here.
Bobby Lockett, District 3.
Present.
Patrick K. Farrell, District 4.
Here.
Tanya Milton, District 5. Aaron Whiteley, District 6.
Here.
Marcia Buford, District 8.
Here.
All right, Commissioner Middleton is on her way. She was out reading to some kindergartners this morning, right, and she said she was gonna be late, so we look for her return. And in the meantime, we're gonna call on Commissioner Buford, who will introduce our youth commissioners who are with us today.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. This morning, I want to introduce our youth commissioners, Ms. Ariana Oliphant. She's a senior at New Hampstead High School, and Gabrielle Owens. She's a junior at Savannah Early College. We want to say welcome, and if you have any questions during the proceedings, please feel free to ask. Thank you for being here.
We are so grateful to have you with us today and to be a part of us, all right? If you have any questions about anything that's on the agenda, just raise your hand when the time comes. And if I don't see you, because sometimes I get distracted, some of the other commissioners will let me know that you have, and Ms. Kramer there will let me. So we thank you for being a part of what we're doing today, all right? Thank you so much. We're getting ready now for proclamations and special presentations, and the first thing up is our Employee Service Award. And let me do this. Let me do this, Mr. Manager, if you will. Who's that? Yeah, go ahead. Go. Come on. Good. All right. Good. Pastor, we wanted to make sure. I was trying to delay until they got it over here, but that's our appreciation for you coming and bringing the word to us today. Huh? We thank you so much. But Mr. Manager, if you will, I need to do some things out of sequence.
Yes, sir.
All right. Please do Judge Colbert first.
All right.
Because she's got to get out here. She's got to get back to the courtroom to a trial. All right.
Well, Mr. Chairman, good morning, commissioners. I'm going to ask my awesome human resource team to come forward as we recognize our county employees on their various years of service. So, and we will get Judge Colbert first.
Good morning, everyone. Thank you for joining us as we celebrate employees with milestone service anniversaries. Our cup runneth over this morning, if you've heard that saying before, as we celebrate a collective 275 years of service among 22 employees. And spoiler alert, our first is Judge Lisa Colbert from Superior Court Administration with 25 years of service.
Thank you, ma'am. Appreciate you.
From our Public Works Department with 35 years of service, Terry Knapp. From the Board of Commissioners with 25 years of service, Commissioner Dean Kicklighter. From Superior Court Administration with 25 years of service, Sharon Davis. From Human Resources with 25 years of service, Ramona Johnson. From ICS with 20 years of service, Eric Phillips. From engineering with 20 years of service, Nathaniel Panther. From Chatham Emergency Management with 15 years of service, Stephen Meyer. From our detention center with 10 years of service, Mark Williams. From our detention center with 10 years of service, Sergeant Lavasia Pringle. From our detention center with 10 years of service, Sergeant Reginald Scott. Heather Norman from the Sheriff's Office with 5 years of service. Corporal Marvin Dixon from the detention center with 5 years of service. Richard Mole from Parks and Recreation with 5 years of service. Sonia Oliver Settles from Juvenile Court with 5 years of service. Chatham County Coroner David Campbell with 5 years of service.
Will the coroner's office please report to the principal's office? That's why I say principal's office. Close in.
Sarah Moorhead from the District Attorney's Office with 5 years of service.
Tour of duty, it's really 17 years. Thank you.
District Attorney Shalina Jones with 5 years of service. State Court Judge Elizabeth Coolidge with 5 years of service. State Court Judge Derek White with 5 years of service.
By the way, if you didn't know, this is my twin sister.
From our Board of Commissioners, Commissioner Tanya Milton with 5 years of service.
She coming.
And last but certainly not least, from our Board of Commissioners, Commissioner Aaron Whiteley with 5 years of service.
Congratulations, my presence. Appreciate it. Thank you.
Your collective 275 years of service are deeply appreciated by Chatham County. Thank you.
To all of our employees who received their awards today, we say thank you, because without you, we couldn't do what we do as well as we do it. Let me also recognize now, before they go, the two judges, Judge Coolidge and Judge White, but Judge Colbert was here and Judge Milton was here, right? Let me also recognize our clerk of Superior Court who is here, all right, one of our constitutional officers. Did I miss anybody? Did I miss any judge? All right. Thank you all so much for being here, and thank all of you for being here. Where? Sitting in the back over here? Sitting back over here? Right. There's one of the council people from Bloomingdale? Huh? From Tybee? Where? Oh, there he is. Okay. All right. Thank you for being here with us today. And I know we often see you when you come. And all right. All right, proclamation recognizing 2/11 Day in Chatham County, and we have the CEO from United Way of the Coastal Empire here. All right, good. As she come forward.
Thank you all so much. My name is
right.
Kimberly Waller. I am the CEO here at the United Way of the
All right.
Coastal Empire.
Okay, Ms. Waller, let me read to you a part of this proclamation, and then I'll
Wonderful.
turn the floor over to you. Whereas 211 is a free, confidential information and referral service provided by the United Way of the Coastal Empire that connects individuals in need with essential local resources and support. These needs include housing, utilities, food, disaster relief, clothing, household needs, and transportation. And whereas last year, our 211 team answered more than 8,600 calls from neighbors with nowhere else to turn, supported by 5,000 households with housing needs, 2,300 with utilities, 1,200 with food support, and so much more. Whereas United Way's 211 team maintained a database of information and referral partners that provide programs or service to support the needs of the residents of our community. Now, therefore, I, Chester Ellis, Chairman on behalf of the Chatham County Board of Commissioners, do hereby proclaim Tuesday, February the 11th, 2026, as 211 Day in Chatham County, and extend appreciation to the United Way's dedicated 211 team and its trusted partners, agencies that make it possible for United Way to provide the helpful and needed support services and program. In witness whereof, I hereto set my hand and call the seal of Chatham County, Georgia, to be affixed as 30th day of January 2026. The mic is yours.
Thank you so much, Chairman Ellis. I'm very honored to be here. Thank you all so much for your support. As you mentioned, we celebrate 2-on-1 Day on February 11th, 2/11. It's very cute. We've got some really fun stuff that we're going to do this year just to continue to raise awareness. We know that the importance of this helpline is incredible, but making sure that people know that it exists, that it's there for them to support, and that we're all partnering together. So we, this year, are partnering with a local artist, Inky Brittany, if you're familiar with her, and she's doing a 2-on-1 mural that we're going to unveil at Starlin Yard on February 11th. So we invite you to join us there with us and be there with us. It'll be from 5:30 to 7. And what she's done with this mural is she's talked to our 2-on-1 call specialists. She's talked to our nonprofit partners that we refer to, and she's really putting this story, this journey of what 2-on-1 does to support the community in an art form. So we're very excited about that. But 2-on-1 is truly such an important resource. I've been in this job for about 1.5 years now, and we've really spent a lot of time trying to identify ways that we can make sure it's the strongest that it can be for our community. When I first joined, we had a director and 1 call specialist, and we know for our region that is not nearly enough. So we have grown that team very strategically, and we have partnered with several of our fantastic colleges and universities here to engage federal work studies students and MSW students to join us in that work. And really excited about what this future looks like because, Chairman Ellis, as you mentioned, there are households, families, children in our community that need support, and we want to be there to be able to support as much as we possibly can. This work is also powered by our annual campaign that you all are so supportive of. And we're really excited to announce that right now we're sitting at about 71% to our goal of $5.2 million. 5.2 million was an aggressive goal this year, but we know that the community is growing, and as we all know, with that growth comes additional needs. So we want to be a united way that is there to stand in partnership with each of you and the important work that you all do. So I know that we're going to make it. We're so thankful for all of your support. This will be proudly displayed on 2-on-1 Day with our mural, and I just want to say thank you very much.
And we thank you for what you all do, you and your staff do, as far as helping those who are less fortunate and in need in this county. And we support it 100%. If you will, we taking the picture?
Yeah.
The cameraman is coming. If you just turn around, face the clock, then he'll.
Thank you.
Again, thank you for the job you all do, and thank you for being dedicated.
Thank you very much. I will also say today is Read United Day, which is where Commissioner Milton is. And I also read this morning we've got over 1,000 volunteers across our 5-county region in every pre-K through 2nd grade school right now reading. So literacy is power. So thank you all so much.
Mm-hmm. That Commissioner Milton made sure I knew.
I know she did.
Not only did she call me 2 times, but she also made sure I got it through the notes that she's out reading to our children today.
So thank you for your support.
And if she doesn't make it on time, then we still gonna excuse her, right? Okay. All right. No, I'm just saying that so Janice will put it in the record. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
Okay. All right. Let us go to the chairman's items. The first one, elect commission vice chair, Melissa Scott Hodge. May I have a motion?
I move for approval. Second.
Properly motion and second that Commissioner Hodge be voted in as the vice chair. Ready for the question? Please cast your votes. All right, thank you. The second one is to reappoint Joyce Roche to the Savannah Economic Development Authority. Is there a motion?
So moved. Second.
Properly motion and second. Question, please cast your votes. What am I missing? Oh, there it is. All right. There are no commissioner items, no table items. We go to items for individual action. To request board approval of the following, excuse me, budget amendment and transfer In the general fund, A, transfer $37,710 from contingency to our SAC budget. B, transfer $175,000 from Public Works other purchases, services to transfer out into the capital improvement program fund. 2, in the multi-grant fund, A, increase revenues and expenditures, $1,285 for the Atlanta Falcons Arthur M. Blank Foundation Grant. B, increase revenues and expenditures, $2,000 for the National Recreation and Park Association Grant. C, increase revenues and expenditures, $6,519 for the Associated County Commissioners of Georgia Grant. 3, in the Capital Improvement Program Fund, increase transfers in from the general fund, $175,000 to increase the Public Works contingency project. Is there a motion? There a second? Second. Properly motion is second. Are you ready for the question? Please cast your votes. Okay. Request board approval to begin the primary engineering design for the Skidaway Road at Montgomery Crossroad Roundabout, District 1 and 2. Is there a motion? All right, is there a second? Second. All right, it's been properly motion and second, and at this time, I'm gonna call on the manager.
Yes, sir, Mr. Chairman. I'm going to ask Ms. Cooler to come to the podium to give a brief overview of this project. I want the board to realize that with this approval, you're giving the engineering team to conduct preliminary design. Once the preliminary design is finished, then we'll hold public meetings to let the community know what we're doing out there. So, Ms. Cooler?
Good morning. So in 2012, there was a concept developed for a roundabout at the intersection of Skidaway Road and Montgomery Crossroad. Due to public pushback, that project was put on hold in 2016. In 2024, Safe Streets for All study identified it as one of our intersections across the county that needs improvement. The reason for that is approximately 30,000 vehicles per day pass through the intersection. And with the way it is geometrically designed currently, it has about 5 legs coming into it off of Central, Montgomery Crossroads, Skidaway. So it is dangerous. There are accidents there that include not only rear ends but side impact because of the geometry. What we're proposing, we did consult with VHB, our consultant, who did an intersection control evaluation to identify the best available alternative for the intersection, which turns out to be a roundabout because of the geometry of it. So what we're asking to do is to continue with preliminary engineering for that design of a roundabout. We wanted the board's concurrence because of the previous history of putting the project on hold due to the public pushback, and we didn't want to go out and spend money that the board didn't support for a project the board does not support. So that's why we're here asking for support.
All right. And let me say now, because I know Mr. Luton is here. What we're going to do, Mr. Luton, is as we give the engineering department to make the design, all right, we're going to schedule public meetings and public hearings out in that area, okay? And that'll be the time for the public to speak and to talk and to make their wishes known. We'll make sure we keep Commissioner Noah and Commissioner Lockett up to speed with you, all right? So that you will have a chance for all of the neighbors in that area, all right, to have comments and things at that time, all right?
That's fine, Chair.
Okay.
Can I also ask one other thing?
No, we're gonna have to do it during that period of time. All right? Yes, sir.
I just have one question for clarity for the public. This new intersection will also be pedestrian paths in the immediate area, correct?
Correct.
We had a gentleman, well, several, but in the last couple of years that was killed on that section of road.
Right.
So that's one of our, it's not only traffic with vehicles, but it's pedestrian traffic as well.
That's correct. So we have a current project that is addressing the intersection of Skidaway Road and Ferguson Avenue that'll extend pedestrian improvements along the commercial corridor there. This project will tie into that sidewalk and provide pedestrian improvements through the
Thank you very
entire
much.
intersection.
And that's the reason we want to hold, public comments and things, because let them come up with something that you can talk about, all right? They've got to do the design phase so that they can bring it and present it to the neighborhood at that time, and then that'll be the time to ask questions, all right? All right, now, that having been said, please cast your votes. All right, thank you. At this time, we're going to have, the police chief, Mr. Manager.
Yes, sir. I'm going to ask Chief Adler to come to the podium so he can provide his bi-monthly update to the board. And he's also going to talk a little bit during his presentation about the updated strategic plan for the police department. So, Chief Adler.
All right, thank you, sir. If I can find it. Oh, sorry about that. Well, good morning, everybody.
Good morning.
It's a pleasure to stand before you. I also put before you a Chatham County Department Strategic Plan Performance Update that Mr. Kegler had tasked us to do earlier, at the tail end of 2025. So a lot of hard work went into updating that. I'd like to thank Betsy Nolan and my staff as well, Assistant Chief Terry Shoup and Assistant Chief Julie Tolbert, in providing these updates and giving you the most recent and updated information on the Chatham County Police Department. If you have any, I know there's kind of coffee table stuff. If you have any questions, about that when you're able to read it at your leisure, please reach out to me and I'll answer any questions that you may have. First and foremost, I wanted to go over the 2025 crime statistics. We were down overall 14.6% overall crime in Chatham County, and down 17% in violent crime. I thought it was a wonderful year, relatively speaking, for crime. As you can see, if you go down to the graph in total Part 1 crimes, we have consistently, for the most part, reduced our crime in unincorporated Chatham County since our inception. Sunday will be our 8-year anniversary of beginning policing, or re-policing, I guess, for lack of a better term, the unincorporated parts of Chatham County. It's hard to imagine that I stood before you 8 years ago, coming from Kalamazoo, Michigan. You guys in Chatham County welcomed me here, and I've had nothing but a fabulous time building the Chatham County Police Department. We've had a lot of good effort that has gone into making the Chatham County Police Department what it is today. I'd like to thank the manager's office, the previous Board of Commissioners, the current Board of Commissioners for your steadfast support in our endeavors to do the best that we can do. I have a wonderful staff, certainly couldn't do it alone. Again, mentioning Assistant Chief Shoup, Assistant Chief Tolbert, and many others. Captain Kim Middleton has been phenomenal doing the business side of the house, purchasing, all the things that don't get a lot of attention, but I really wanted to give her a shout out here today because she's done a tremendous job for us at the Chatham County Police Department. All the other internal departments, ICS, HR, Fleet, almost every department that reports to the county manager's office touches the Chatham County Police Department in some way, shape, form, or fashion. I hope that I believe we have very good relationships. They have been great in supporting us, and hopefully we have returned that favor in whatever they may need as they go about and do their work. So getting into the strategic plan performance report, just a little bit, going back to about the strategic plan. It was developed after a lengthy process that included detailed input from our incumbent staff back 8 years ago. We also engaged the community. We had several meetings with the community to get input on what they would like to see their Chatham County Police Department be going forward. It was finalized in late 2019, and we presented it to the public in early 2020. We'll highlight the major growth accomplishments of the last 8 years, that should say 8 years. The strategic plan was updated again at the end of 2025, and we'll discuss our plans moving forward. Our key focus area number one was organizational structure and personnel. New units and personnel added to meet critical needs. We increased our CID staffing, and staffing is continuously monitored. You know, we've struggled with, you know, getting to our allocated strength. We're currently at 24 vacancies, but what I'm proudest of, and what I think some agencies tend to do or can do, without casting any dispersions, is they may waffle on their standards. They may hedge a little bit because they need to fill spots. I can stand here before you and say we have not done that. We have stayed true to our standards because we want to make sure that whoever we put in this uniform that represents the county out there for y'all, really, and for everybody, that we have the belief that they're going to do it in a respectful manner, that they have integrity, that they got the core values to go out and be a police officer in today's world. And I think that we've really stuck to that. You don't see, and you haven't seen, I'll say bad press, if you will, that officers that go out and do misdeeds or are in serious trouble. Are they perfect? Of course not. Do they make everyone happy? Of course not. Do they always maybe had a bad day and maybe didn't always respond necessarily appropriately? But by and large, we have very, very good officers. They do a great job for you every single day, and I'm very proud of them. Key positions, our crime analysts, our neighborhood liaison officer, that's Dee. She's a fantastic young lady. Our strategic enforcement team, hopefully we can get that populated when we get our staffing up. Our policy and certification manager that we added, we did get state certification last year, so we're very proud of that fact. We've added critical units, our K-9 unit, our traffic unit, our multi-jurisdictional SWAT team, our BHU unit, which is a fabulous unit. They do much work in the community, intersecting mental health patients out there. Our homeless liaison officer out there, identifying issues with our homeless population, directing them to resources, and trying to also work with the businesses around issues that they face relative to homeless individuals. We also have our dive team that we created as well, which is multi-jurisdictional. Moving on to organizational structure and personnel. Again, we obtained our accreditation. This is a very critical aspect. So the state comes in, they look at our policies and procedures, they audit us, they make sure that we're operating at a 21st century level. And again, I'm very proud to say that we accomplished that task. Training and recruiting, again, going out and getting the best that we can get. Our training is superior, I believe. The board supports us and funds us to the level that we need to train our officers in the best way that we can. I think it's so critically important, particularly as our officers come on the department. How do we socialize them into our profession? It's a big leap from being a civilian to going into the law enforcement world and all that they're going to face, and all the challenges that law enforcement encounters on a daily basis. And I believe that we give them the best of the best to the extent that we can with the resources that we have. And you guys have provided us with what we need. Moving on, community trust and engagement. That's really our hallmark. If you were to look at our daily activity report, we asked every officer to provide how many community contacts that they have done throughout their shift. And oftentimes you'll see me when I give presentations, we'll map those community contacts. You'll see the red dots all over the county. To me, that is our bread and butter. How do we connect with people in a real way out there in the community, in those neighborhoods? That's what makes us or breaks us. The power of our relationships gets us through whatever challenging times that we have, and I'm very proud of the officers that do that. We do community events. We do coffee with a cop, trunk or treat, school supply giveaways, food giveaways. We have a college internship program with Savannah State that has been very beneficial for us. We do ride-alongs. Whatever manner in which we can engage our community and have people not only learn about us, but we get to learn about them. And that's always puts us in a better place. Our social media strategy, information posted to CCPD's 4 social media accounts and mobile app was viewed 10.8 million times in 2025. That's not without intention. That's not without strategy. That's not without really thinking about that and being very strategic relative to that. We don't put everything out there. We want to just make sure that we're putting what's relevant, what's necessary, what's respectable, and what the community needs to know. So I'm very proud of that aspect, and a lot thanks go to Betsy Nolan for her work on that. Moving on, technology and infrastructure, establish processes and relationships to procure equipment deemed necessary for enforcement and laws, investigations, search and rescue missions, and a variety of things. There's a lot of technology out there, and this board has funded us in the things that we need to go out and do our job, from cameras to body cameras to a firearms simulator, and I could probably go on and on. But I do believe that we look for the technology that we need to do our jobs. We're conservative about it, meaning we can't get everything. We certainly understand that. We're not going to bring to the board anything and everything and all the new bells and whistles that are out there. But I do believe that we have the technology that we need to go out and do our job, fight crime, and do what you ask us to do. Focus crime prevention and response. Again, our crime analysis unit, our behavioral health unit. I know I talked about that previously, and I have this picture up here because I think what that represents. You're probably like, geez, what is this picture of this guy getting a haircut? Well, this gentleman is one of our consumers, meaning we have engaged him out there in the community. He has some mental health challenges. I won't name his name, of course, but what we were able to do along with Chatham Fire. This is one of the Chatham Fire employees, because he needed a haircut. But going to the barber created challenges for him in with his mental health. So what we did is partner with Chatham Fire, our community paramedic. He knew how to cut hair, so we went and gave this man a haircut. So he didn't have to experience what he experiences when he tries to go to the barbershop. That's one of probably 100 examples of what us and the Chatham County Fire Department does on a daily basis. But I thought it was a great representation of the work that not only do we do together, that we do out there in the community, but this board supports on a daily basis. Again, crime prevention, we run the gamut on what we'll do. We put signs in yards. We've talked many times about people locking their cars, particularly around weapons that are left in there. But we do a variety of things to get our message out there. Traffic safety, we now have 2 officers assigned to our traffic unit. Thankfully, we do speed trailers, we do all kinds of things. Our officers are out there strategically placed, generally on where the complaints come from the community. So we don't go out there willy-nilly just trying to write a lot of citations. We try to do it strategically and do it where the complaints are coming from the community. We're also getting them trained up to be fatal investigators. We have relied on GSP to do our fatal investigations over the last 8 years, but we're almost there to get these officers trained so we can handle those in-house. They did the most recent unfortunate incident of the 14-year-old on Ferguson Avenue, and then another fatal investigation, but they have done very good work. We secured search warrants, we secured arrest warrants for both of those cases and served them most recently. Our goals and objectives, our organizational structure, just looking at where we need civilian personnel, what you may see coming up in the next budget year is looking at taking some sworn positions that we've been unable to fill and putting those into civilian positions that can support our operations. So you will see that coming down the pike. Infrastructure, finalizing plans for a new Marine Patrol site. We just cleared the last hurdle, which was some access concerns, thanks to John Hart and his team at the county attorney's office that kind of pushed us over the finish line. So hopefully we'll start construction on that in the latter part or the first part of this year or the third quarter of this year. That's been a SPLOST project for about 10 years, I think, if you will. So really looking forward to that. And then our Badcock building site there in Ogeechee, that to be our new property and evidence facility, along with our new training facility So we've already created a transition team for that. I'm sorry, a project team for that. Colonel Bowen is going to be assisting us with that project, so we've got some momentum on that. And succession plan in this, so in the next 24 to 36 months, actually 22 months, and up to perhaps 36 months, we are going to have a large transition of command staff leave or potentially leave the Chatham County Police Department. Being mindful of when we created the department or recreated the department in 2017, we hired many folks on their second career that retired and then came, thankfully, and worked for us. But they're coming to that point in life where they're going to retire. So we will be doing and looking at, number one, how do we prepare our next generation of leaders for the Chatham County Police Department? What I don't want to do is in 2028 have 7 or 8 people leave within 2 months, and I have to replace all those people instantaneously. That interrupts the operations. I think that's short-sighted, so we'll be looking at how do we train the next generation leaders, how do we put them in the positions that they need to do to learn from people that are here before they leave, so we can have as much of a seamless transition over the next 22 to 24 months. I think that's, in my opinion, smart. I think that's forward-thinking, and I think that's what we need to do for the community and for the organization. That is all I have referenced that. Let me make sure I didn't forget anything. Okay, I'll be happy to answer any questions that you may have.
All right, Commissioner Farrell, anybody else? Commissioner Milton, anyone else? Commissioner Hari, anyone else? All right, Commissioner Farrell.
Yeah, I just wanted to ask, the hit and run accident, there was no eyewitness to it, and I believe y'all had a suspect arrested within 24 hours?
Yes, sir.
That is remarkable work, in my opinion, and I want to commend you and your department, your detectives, for putting that puzzle together and figuring it out so quickly and so efficiently.
I appreciate that. A couple things. There was a lot of community members that instantaneously started, giving us information. There was actually some cameras, private cameras that were on at a gated community that had, fortunately, a very bird's eye view of the accident. Then we were able to take that information, use our flock camera system to identify the vehicle, and then we continued the work after that. There was a lot of work that went into that. After the initial arrest, we made some initial charges, and then they continued to investigate. They got search warrants. They looked at credit card statements. There was all kinds of things that they did that I necessarily can't get into right here. But they worked very hard, and I was very proud of the work that they did.
Yeah, I just wanted to point that out, that was incredibly good work and fast, and it hopefully gave the community and the family members some closure as to what in the world happened here, and holding somebody responsible.
Yes, sir. Thank you so much.
All right, Commissioner Milton.
Good morning.
Good morning.
I just want to congratulate you on your 8 years and the fine work that you're doing. And I wanted to ask about the succession plan.
Yes, ma'am.
And that's very smart to be working on it now. Have you already started that?
Yes, ma'am.
And how's that working out?
It's good. We're on the beginning phases, so we're looking at some slight adjustments in our structure, aligning people within the organization underneath incumbent commanders, so they can learn from folks in house, and then when those folks transition out, we can kind of transition them in. We've got training that we'll be providing to those folks going forward, and I think that we're in a good place.
And I'm thankful that you've got somebody designated to traffic now.
Well, I don't know. I heard you were speeding trying to get here, so I mean, I just didn't know. I didn't know if I was going to ask you.
Maybe we better check the cameras on.
Yeah, right. But we do, in all seriousness. I know you've had your issues over there, or your,
my
complaints
Girard
over there.
Avenue.
Yes, ma'am, on Girard, and so they are two very fine officers, and we strategically place them based on community concerns.
Good deal. Thank you so much, and congratulations again.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
Commissioner Hart.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. It's always so impressive to hear the work that you all do, especially in this day and time when law enforcement, nationally, they struggle to find people. And not lowering your standards, that's so commendable. So much of this is forward thinking, but I do have a question regarding financial crimes and things like
Yes,
that. So
yes.
where are we with how we address some of the financial crimes, especially when it comes to the elderly and technology?
Yes, ma'am. So thank you for kind of teeing that up. So we actually had a long discussion yesterday in our crime meeting. We consistently see scams perpetrated on our citizens, particularly the elderly. And so we had a financial crime seminar that we had at the latter part of 2025. We were in the process of planning another one. I also would like to, with our PIO and the county PIO's office, I haven't even actually had a chance to talk to Mr. Kegler about it, put together some type of PSA informative video. The sophistication and the targeting, I'll say, of our elderly relative to financial crimes is pretty prevalent. We're not talking about small sums of money. We are talking about 10 and 20 and 40 and $100,000 that we've already seen people lose that amount of money that they don't get back. Bitcoin, gold. I mean, it runs the gamut in terms of how these folks target some of our individuals. So, we already have the template for the seminar, so we'll be providing those. We will do as many as we need. We will be in a church, we will be at a community center, we'll be wherever we need to be because people really need to know. A lot of times they don't get a lot of attention because they're not the violent crimes and whatnot. But anybody losing that amount of money is devastating to them. And so we need to make them aware of how they can protect themselves, how caregivers can protect their parents, their uncles, whoever they may be looking after that may be way up there in age. And we know it may be a challenge because folks don't want to give up that independence, and they may be of a generation that don't speak about their financial situation or what they have. That's just kind of the culture. But we really need to have people be aware of what their loved ones could be susceptible to. Because you could blink of an eye and they could lose a couple $100,000 because they think they're doing the right thing. But so thank you so much for teeing that up. It is on our radar. We will be putting together some things to educate our community, and I'll report that back out here. But if there's any place within your districts that would like that to take place, we will make sure that happens.
Thank you, Chief.
Yes, ma'am.
Commissioner Noah? Okay. Commissioner Whiteley?
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Chief, thank you so much. I'm always incredibly proud of our police department, especially the community engagement piece. I know that there was mention of the BHU in the show. Can you just, for the public consumption, just kind of talk about what the BHU does and how it's deployed? And the reason, just so you understand where I'm going, I know there was a unfortunate incident that took place last week, and there were discussions about the gentleman potentially having mental health issues. And so I want to kind of be able to share with the public what options there are when they may when they may encounter somebody who's enduring some mental health challenges, and things they may want to say in a call to 911 to make sure that the BHU can be engaged.
Yes, so thank you so much. So the Behavioral Health Unit is a co-responder unit that we partner with the Chatham County Fire Department. They have community paramedics. We have officers that respond to mental health calls. We also use Gateway. We have clinicians that we also work with where we identify or may become aware of certain individuals in the community that are in need of mental health services. Or they need to get back on a program, so to speak. They may have already, I don't want to say been in the system, but they've been, attached to resources. They've kind of fallen off the program in terms of whether it be taking their medication, going to any type of counseling, things of that nature. What we want to do, absent of making an arrest, is get them back on track and direct them to the resources, get them back with their case managers, make sure they're taking their medication. We follow up with them because what we don't want is a negative event. We don't want to have to encounter them in a situation where they're having a mental health crisis, but they're also exhibiting behaviors that are threatening, not only to themselves, to the public, and/or a police officer who's going to perceive that threat in a certain way and may have to take it to a level that none of us want to do that. None of us want to have to use force at any time necessarily, but certainly somebody that's really in need of mental health crisis. So this is where law enforcement is going. We know the amount of mental health or the mental health issues in any community. We know, and I'm sure Chief Deputy could tell us how many people are in the Chatham County Jail that are under psychotropic medication, things of that nature. They do a wonderful job at the Chatham County Sheriff's Office trying to give them what they can when they're in their care. But they also know at some time they're going to leave that facility and they're out in the community. What we hope to do is enhance our current BHU when we some of these civilian positions that will be reclassifying. They're not new positions, so we're not asking for more money. We're just asking for a reclassification so we can provide the BHU more support to go out there and do the work that they can do. So I think Chatham County has been extremely forward-thinking, not only within the Chatham County Sheriff's Office and the detention center, but also in the community, whether it be Savannah PD that really started the BHU unit. We kind of piggybacked on them, and we worked very well together. We're hoping to expand it as we go forward with some of the other agencies. But what I would also ask, if there's someone in your world, in your circle, that you believe is in need of services that we need to be aware of, not coming to your house or being aware of from a law enforcement perspective, but can we, with our resources, with our connections, and can we get them directed to resources? Can we make you and your loved one aware of those resources to get them plugged in? So if there's some type of interaction, we're aware of them. Oh, that's so-and-so. This is their history. This is what they need. This is their caseworker. This is what they've done before. This is where we need to take them. Please let us know. That's what we're here for, so we can avoid any negative outcomes going forward.
Thank you so much for that, Chief, and I think it's vitally important that our community understands that. The last question, just if, let's just say hypothetically, I'm at a spot, I know that somebody may have mental health challenges and they're exhibiting some behaviors that may cause a disturbance or whatever that may lead to somebody calling the police, or I may want to call the police. How do you recommend I engage when I call 911 or non-emergency call center? Are there some certain things I might want to say just to make sure that their mental health is taken into consideration when police are being called?
Yes. Well, if you're aware of the person, or let's just say you're someone you don't know, but based on your kind of common sense can kind of see that they're having, a mental health crisis, is when you call 911 or the non-emergency line is be as descriptive as possible. I don't see any weapons. They haven't physically assaulted anybody, but they're exhibiting some behaviors, and I think, someone needs to make contact with them. This is what they're wearing. More information is better than less information. But if they're not threatening or they're not exhibiting any type of violent behavior, please let the dispatcher know that they do a great job of transferring that information to the street officer. So when they show up, they're not, up here. They're gonna. We just want to know all that information so we can engage them in the way that we can engage them. They can also dispatch if our BHU officer is working, which they generally are. We can dispatch someone there that has a little more training in active listening skills, de-escalation, things of that nature, so we can get them the services that they need. But we want to know if they're not exhibiting any type of violent behavior or they haven't assaulted anybody or anything like that. We want to know that, so that kind of lowers the temperature a little bit on that call.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Chief. And again, just incredibly proud of the department. I'd get a chance to work with the neighborhood liaison officer. She's at all the community meetings. So we appreciate your work and the Team Chatham Police work as well. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Ms. Owens? Speak into your mic. Make sure it's on and speak into it.
Okay. Is it working? Yeah. Okay. So doubling back to what Ms. Hodge said, like, how do y'all like help them get their money back if there is a way to?
Sometimes there is. So as we had the discussion yesterday, it just depends on the manner in which they were scammed. You know, sometimes, for example, if they've been scammed where they end up going to a Bitcoin ATM and transferring money into that Bitcoin ATM, there is a way, there's a certain time period that we may be able to claw back that money, but time is of the essence. And sometimes we don't always get that. But sometimes we can get a portion of the money back based on our police report, our investigation, because the facilitator of the machine gets a certain percentage of that money transfer. So if we can prove that there was fraud, which we often can, we can get at least a portion of that money back. That's one way. Working with the banking institutions, sometimes if we're able to get on it quick enough, because they'll take that money, transfer it to a different account, and then transfer it to another account. If we can get it maybe in that first transfer, we might be able to claw that money back.
Yeah, so like when they like give them their like banking information and they take it like that, that's how y'all do it?
Well, that's one way.
Oh, okay.
That's one way. Oftentimes, part of the scam is they have people, oh, your account's been hacked, and you need to take all your money out, and you need to send it to this account over here, which we would tell anyone, if you are never going to be asked to take money out of your account and put it into another account by any banking institution. If you have any questions, go to a brick and mortar. Go to your bank, go in and speak to a teller, a manager, but what they do is they keep people on the phone, and they gain their confidence, and they create this sense of urgency, and you need to do it right now because you're going to lose all this money, and by the time we find out, it can be too late.
All right, thank you.
Yes, ma'am. Thanks for the question.
And Commissioner Noah?
Speaking about the BHU, how many officers do you have on the BHU?
Well, full-time officers, we have our neighborhood liaison officer, Sergeant Rivera,
Right.
who's our BHU officer, and then we also have Jesse Germanario, who's our homeless outreach coordinator, but he's also part of the BHU unit.
And
You know, our patrol staff out there obviously engages, they get dispatched to calls, so it's not all the calls go strictly to them. They are there sometimes for first responders, but oftentimes for follow-up case management, directing them, kind of taking that initial call from the patrol officer and then taking that person and making sure that they do the follow-up. They have all the contacts with the resources, gateway, things of that nature.
so with 2 personnel assigned to BHU full-time, what percentage of the time is there not someone on duty for BHU?
Percentage?
Well, I mean, where I'm going is, do you need 2 or 3 more people? Do you need 10 people? It just seems very small percentage of personnel to run I'm very familiar with, we're getting ready to build that adolescent center it's a lot bigger than most people think. I'm sure you're all aware of it, but for the public, it's a large issue.
Yeah.
And
Well, we also, let me answer it in 2 ways. Number one, we certainly could always use more capacity. If we were fully staffed, we'd certainly dedicate more. But we also partner with Savannah PD, who has, I believe, 6 people full-time to their BHU unit, and we have our 2 people, aside from, others that are trained. We're trying to get some of the other agencies on board, and that's part of some of our work that we'll be doing this year. If you're asking county-wide, what's the percentage that people, full-time BHU dedicated? I'm going to say 20%, because SPD works 2 shifts. They work almost up until 11 o'clock or midnight, Monday through Sunday. So I think we have a good blanket necessarily across the county. We can always do more. And certainly if we get staffed up and we get to our hiring levels, we'll dedicate more staff to that.
But that working relationship with the city, if our officers were off duty, we could call them.
Yes,
and they
sir,
would
and vice
respond.
versa. Yes, sir.
Thank you.
We have a great partnership with them. They've been a fantastic partner.
Also with the BH unit, in there, from the fire department.
Yes.
What's her name?
Lydia.
Lydia.
Yeah, and they have a
Lydia,
few,
yeah.
they have staffing at night.
Right.
Right, Chief?
No, he just has,
Just daytime?
yeah, he's working on getting folks trained and as well as you are. You got some folks in training that are gonna be working with BHU. Didn't I get that right?
I know we're trying to add another unit.
Right, okay, that's what you, and let me say, and I can go back, excuse me, I can go back and say to Commissioner Whiteley, personally, what happened was, there was somebody I know who had a mental episode, and the EMS were the first, and I told EMS to call the BHU unit from the county, okay, so
I remember that.
Libby came from the fire department, and they were able to partner with the person from, because he actually lived in the city, but he was having it in the county out by Walmart and Sam's. And so they were able to work together and not only get him into the treatment he got, but they went so as far as helping him get an apartment. And now he's living in an apartment that they worked on and got for him, because they had to get his birth certificate because he wasn't born in Georgia, he was born in New York. All right, so they had to go through that process. But the way, if you know the person, whomever the first one, whether it's the beat officer or whether it's EMT or whether it's the fire department, let them know to call the BHU unit. See, because this person has a mental record, then that way they can swing it into action, and they work real hand in hand with the cities as well, so that we can get that covered. And that's the way they can cover what you say. Yes, ma'am.
Back to what you said about the mental issues.
Yes, ma'am.
If you have an officer with mental issues and he seems dangerous, would the process to deal with him be different with how you would deal with a civilian?
It would be, and I say it from this regard. You know, if we think or observe or know that our officers are struggling with some mental health issue, we have a great human resources division that offers employee assistance, counseling services, things of that nature. It would be a different approach because we're exhibiting them, you know, or may have information relative, whether it be in their personal life and or professional life. I do believe that we're very supportive of our officer wellness, you know, because they're humans too, right? I mean, they can struggle, they can be affected by the things that they see and things that they have to do, and we want to make sure that when they go out there and put on this gun and badge and get in that patrol car, that they're as the best that they can be. But we also recognize that they may not always be the best that they can be, and we encourage them to come forward and say, hey, you know what, I'm struggling. You know, I had to deal with a baby death last night, and I'm really struggling with that. So we would take them off duty. We would provide counseling services for them or employee assistance. We have a great psychologist that offers free of charge counseling for officers. If it got to a certain level, it would be a fitness for duty if there was something that we really thought was problematic. But, you know, we would handle them like any human being and making sure that they're the best that they can be. Not only are they good for themselves and their family, but they're good to be a police officer.
Thank you.
Yes, ma'am. Thanks for the question.
All right, let me ask the manager, did we, from the meeting last night, remember the lady who said that there was some Airbnb activity?
Yes, sir.
Did we get that to Chief?
Yes, sir. He's got it.
Yeah, he did?
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Oh, they did give it to you?
Yes, sir. They gave it to me.
And the reason I was asking is because she was proclaiming that she called and nobody responded. So that's why, but they already got it to you, so that we don't need to go into it any further than that. You got it.
I got it.
Okay?
Yes, sir.
But I just wanted to make sure, because she made those allocations public last night, that she called and the police didn't show up at all. And so we can take care of that. But
Yes,
you
sir.
got it.
Yes,
all
sir.
right? Anything else from anyone else? Thank you for what you all do, and especially we are extremely proud of our police department.
Thank you. We appreciate your support. We truly, truly do. Thank you.
All right. May I have a motion to accept the action calendar in its entirety or accept 11S? Properly motion is second that we accept the action calendar in its entirety except 11S. Are you ready for the question? Please cast your votes. Okay. Now 11S. All right. Construction contract for an emergency well for the new multi-agency public safety facility. It is recommended by staff that we approve. Is there, you just want to speak on it, right?
Well, I'd like to do some discussion with the commissioners and the general public, whoever wants to pay attention.
All right, so you want to go to discussion?
I'd like to discuss it before we
Okay,
consider.
so give me a motion to approve. That's the recommendation to approve. Yeah, we going to discussion.
So moved.
All right, give me a second. Second. Properly motion is second. Now we get to discussion. Let us open up with Commissioner Farrell.
Okay, so recently I met with staff and the construction folks and dove into the details of this $4.8 million water well. And there's two components to it. One is to supply running water for a two-story building that we're building out by the airport. And I support that. I was the one that initially suggested to the county commission that we do that sort of thing with our two police precincts in the unincorporated area. However, there's the component that's driving the cost on this thing is fire suppression. So fire suppression this is a backup fire suppression. There is fire suppression built into this this building, but the backup would be in case the water supply stopped flowing for some reason from the city of Savannah. So that kind of grabbed my attention, and what I didn't hear in the meeting was any mention of a probabilistic risk analysis. There was no mention as to what is the probability of needing this elaborate, very multi-million-dollar backup system for the water. And I would like to hear more about that. One of the questions that I asked at our meeting was, what burns in this building that has a multi-million-dollar backup to the we already have a fire suppression system, a sprinkler system engineered into the building. But to build a multi-million-dollar backup just in case the water's not running, you know, what burns in this building? And from what I could gather from the answers, only contents. So for instance, if this was part of the EOC and we're all sitting in here and something should catch on fire, which again, I'd like to know the probability of these desks catching on fire or the carpet or these chairs. I think that's extremely small possibility. But if they did, you know, say somebody gathered everything up in the middle and torched it or some crazy far out scenario, what would burn and could it catch the building on fire? And I was assured that there's 2-hour firewalls, tilt-up construction, concrete. This building is Fort Knox against fire. So the probability of even some unprobable fire inside an office, which is basically, this is a big office building. I just couldn't buy the idea that this was a really large possibility that this could possibly happen for the amount of money that we'd have to spend to have a backup water system. Definitely a water system that would flush the toilets and take a shower and that sort of thing. That's very, very doable and very inexpensive. But these two wells and, you know, all the bells and whistles here, you know, it's a great project, but there was nothing that convinced me that the probability was so high that we really needed to do this. So, you know, there needs to be some sort of analysis, in my opinion, to say, you know, in plain English, so everybody can understand, what is the probability that, one, the water's gonna stop flowing to this building, two, that there's gonna be a fire at that exact time? You know, how many hours in a year would the water stop flowing? You know, we could go back 100 years. I'm sure the city of Savannah's got records of how many times the water stopped flowing to this building. Because as an example, this building was built in 1889. You know, how many times has it stopped? You know, you could use some real life data to figure out, you know, what is the probability. My gut is that the probability of needing a backup fire suppression system to keep the building from burning down and harming people is probably like winning the lottery. I think it's very, very, very small probability. But again, I'd suggest that we just hold off on this and get some data that everybody can understand to say, what is the probability that we need this multi-million-dollar backup system before we spend taxpayer money?
All right, Commissioner Noel.
Well, I had two questions. One of them he kind of touched. I'd like to see some type of study done on just how often the city water goes down. I can tell you, while I was on the fire department, we would be notified when a system was down because of fire suppression. And I can count on one hand in the number of times in 20-something years. And that was small areas, not, you know, I have a feeling that where this building's going is probably some of the newer and more updated infrastructure. But my other question is, how many other county buildings have a backup suppression system?
I think, sir, we have generator power in most of our buildings. I don't think we have any other than the detention center has a several-day backup supply for that operation out there. But we don't have, other than that, we don't have any that have a backup water supply.
Well, not just water supply, but backup. But because what I heard, and if it's wrong, please correct me, is that the primary reason for this additional system is backup for fire suppression. Is that not?
Correct. And we don't have any others that have backup fire protection, as you indicate. But I will say,
why would we feel that this?
Well, and I want to clearly articulate to the board what the mission was for the design team. The design team was tasked with designing a facility and the backup systems for for hurricane or natural disaster. So this is a continuity of operations center that if all else fails, this facility would continue to operate. So it's got redundant power. The power's coming in from two different sides. It's got redundant water and sewer. So this facility was built, and it's built to a Category 5 storm. And we had to bring in a lot of field to elevate it. So this is a worst-case scenario building. It's worst case. Now, I don't think we can give you probabilities on how, you know, the possibility of the city of Savannah water system failing. I don't know how realistic that would be, but the building was designed for a worst case. Category 5 storm, tornado, and we was designed, we will have, I think about 300 people in that facility, and it's supposed to support them for at least 3 days.
So, if I just heard you correctly, we have a water system coming in, a redundant water system that's in the
Correct.
original.
Yes, sir.
And now this is a third water system?
No, it's just a redundant water system too.
Well, but we have the primary, and then we have the redundant system.
The redundant system is the well.
Right.
Yes.
And now this is the second redundant.
No, this is the first, this is the backup.
This is the redundant
Yes.
system.
I thought,
This is the redundant system that they have on here now.
okay, well, you said, maybe I heard you wrong.
No,
wanna
well, I was talking
understand.
about power.
You said power
yes.
coming in from two sides.
Right.
You said water coming in from two sides.
No, water come in, the primary water source is the city of Savannah. The backup, which is what we're trying to approve here today, is the well.
I misunderstood you then. I'm sorry.
Got you? Commissioner Hart?
Thank you, Chairman. I don't know if you can answer this, Michael, but based on my research and looking at facilities such as the one you've described, redundancy is a common practice in building these types of facilities. So a probability study wouldn't necessarily be relevant because they're not saying that it's necessarily likely to occur. It's just a structure that is prepared in the event that it occurs.
Yes, ma'am, and the cost, initial cost, and when we looked at this was a lot higher. We had the team go back out, and I would say that it is a huge price tag, and what the commission needs to decide whether they want to invest that kind of money into a backup system. And the
And they went
design
out
team-
twice, they went out twice to adjust those
Yes.
numbers, right?
Yes, sir, and the
Okay.
design team, this is what they're recommending.
Okay, wait a minute. I got Commissioner Whiteley. You were through?
I'm done.
Oh, okay, all right. Yeah.
You know,
All
that's
right,
my
we're going to Commissioner Whiteley.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. So looking at the agenda item, or at least the documentation here, I do see that this is the best and final offer, showing that they have taken multiple considerations. I will say, I think that us going and doing more studying about this is just going to take us back to the original price tag
Drive up the cost.
at some point. I think the other thing I just want to make clear, my understanding that this is an emergency operations center, meaning that in the instance that we are in a emergency situation, we have seen many weather emergency situations. There are still emergencies that are yet to be seen. God forbid, I'm not trying to speak anything into existence. I'm just saying we don't know what could happen. And so I think that it is important for us to have the redundancy, especially on the water, because some of us might be staying at this place. And if water is contaminated, then we can end up in greater dire straits. But I also think about, more importantly, our Team Chatham members, SEMA, our military folks, because I also understand this is multi-jurisdictional, that they could be there as well. I would ask that if there is a way to get some input money input, maybe recoup, if you will, from some of our partners in the facility. Mr. Manager, I ask that y'all try to find that, if at all possible, at some point, just because this is a pretty heavy price tag that Chatham County is carrying, but I also understand the levity of what we're trying to build. This is not something that we're building for, just our own house to last 30 years. This is something that we're building to protect Team Chatham and our multi-jurisdictional partners throughout the county. So
There's a shared cost associated with this facility. The airport has a significant stake in this also, and they're sharing in the cost. I would say that this has nothing to do with our thoughts on what the city of Savannah's water system is. It has nothing to do with this.
Right.
Essentially, the commission is purchasing this is an insurance against what may happen.
Well, and
What
I
could
just,
happen?
I think that the lives of those practitioners, those first responders who will be there are important enough that we make this investment.
All right, go back to Commissioner Farrell.
Yeah, let me be crystal clear. Like I said in the opening statement, it was my idea to have backup water at our police precincts. I want a backup well there. The driver of this cost, if you want to get into the details, you're looking at two 650-gallon-a-minute pumps, wells, two of them. You know, one well to back up and another well to back up that one. All I'm asking is we just pause for just long enough that we get some sort of scientific analysis that says what is the probability that this fire suppression system is going to have to be activated. And the probability is so slim for the cost that we're putting here that it's just, it's hard to justify the cost of having such a massive amount of water and a tank and all the infrastructure that goes. If it's needed, well, of course we should do it, but you've got a building that will not burn. The sprinkler system is to keep your building from burning. This is an office building. It's not like people are, there's going to be activity there. That's why, you know, you're not going to catch people off guard if you start a fire inside one of the offices. I mean, people are going to know about it. They told me that there's some of the rooms already have chemical suppression, that the computers and different things won't go down, that won't be affected by this. There's a lot of detail in there, and this is an extremely expensive solution, but all I want to do is identify the problem. Identify what we're spending north of $4 million to do. The part about the well and having the backup water and all that's good. That's just, that redundancy is perfectly acceptable and perfectly warranted. I'd just like to know and have everybody have a crystal clear idea how much, you know, I know Commissioner Whiteley was in insurance, you know, how much do you want to insure yourself for something that may or may not happen? And worst case scenario, if there's a fire inside one of the offices, I mean, people are going to be awake. There's fire extinguishers around. We could put that chemical system, which might be significantly less expensive to put out a fire in. Because the other thing that I asked was, well, if this fire suppression gets activated, so say somebody piled up all this wood here and caught it on fire and it burst up, it got the system going. Every room that's covered with the sprinkler system gets doused in water. So we're in the middle of an emergency and we're gonna flood the whole place with water. How is that gonna affect the mission that they're all there for, that the 300 people are in the building for? You just covered them up with water because there was one little fire in an adjacent office down the hall. The building will not burn. It's not burnable. So it's only the contents. What are the contents in a typical office where you have emergency people? Chairs, desk, maybe some carpet. Maybe we get rid of the carpet and we just have tile floors everywhere. Get rid of the burnable stuff. All I'm saying is let's hit the pause button. Let staff look at this and tell lay people like ourselves in terms you can understand, what is the probability that you need to spend north of $4 million to insure against?
Okay, you finished? Commissioner Lockett?
Thank you. First of all, I believe in being prepared. We're also talking about a building. We're also talking about lives and health. And I'm concerned about that, and I see where, you know, we have to save lives. We have to preserve things so that the public can be healthy. And we don't need to keep kicking this can down the road.
Okay. Ready? All right, let's go to Commissioner Kicklighter.
Thank you, Chairman. First of all, I say I truly appreciate anytime one of the commissioners or the commission tries to save a dollar. I was sitting here way back when this body paid $100,000 for one door at a swimming pool. So drove me absolutely crazy with the way money was spent in those days. I will state on this that the emergency itself could be that the entire water system had been compromised somehow. That may be one of the only lifelines to provide water to the entire area by whether it has to be trucked in or out of there at some point, whatever. So I do understand that the point is that it would look stupid unless it's ever needed. I'll give one example of that. There was a gentleman on the news after the tornado went through Black Creek community. And he moved here from an area that had tornadoes all the time. So he built a tornado shelter in his backyard. The neighbors thought that was comical. That was funny because he probably spent $6,000, $7,000 on that. Well, after that tornado blew through, it blew his entire house down, but he and his family were outside in that shelter. So all of a sudden, that frivolous purchase didn't look so funny or silly. So this is one of those that I don't believe you'll ever be able to justify at all unless something bad, so bad happens, there won't be as many people to be able to justify it to.
Right.
It would be a complete disaster for it to be, I believe, needed. But if it's ever needed, it will, sounds crazy, it will be needed.
It will be needed.
So with that, if I may, I'll make a motion to approve. Or
Yeah,
we already did?
We already did that.
Okay.
All right. Let me go back to Commissioner Hodge.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. For clarity, because it's being said this is an office building, what is the facility that we are discussing?
It's emergency.
It's the Emergency Operations Center, where SEMA will be housed, 911, airport security, and other emergency management functions.
160.
So you will have office space in there, but it's an emergency operations center.
And this facility is also used, based on what we've been briefed on, you're saying that in the event of an emergency where we have all hands on deck.
Yes, ma'am.
They are housed in this facility, so overnight, they would reside sometime for some
3 days,
instances?
yes, ma'am.
Okay.
All right, Commissioner Milton.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. What is the life of this backup?
What?
I mean, is it forever? I mean, it's going inside this building, and this building is forever, and I don't know what forever is, but it has some longevity.
I mean, we expect to have a lot of years, at least 30 years out of this facility or more. But during the event of a disaster, it's designed, I'll turn it over to Director Jones, but at least 3 days that we should be able to house people in.
Yeah, thank you for that question. The facility is designed to operate completely off the grid for 3 full days. Also want to emphasize that during an emergency situation where we have a major hurricane affect Chatham County, this facility will also become the seat of government for Chatham County. So you can have your commission meetings there, you can have your any other meetings there. So this will be a hardened structure in order to support the county commission as well.
All right, did I get everybody? Let me say this now. I attended the meeting where the engineers and Ms. Coolidge is sitting back there, and she can tell you, I asked her this, all right? There are up from 300 to 450 people who may have to live in this building, right?
Correct.
During the storm, all right? And I asked Ms. Coolidge, and I said to her, what's her take on it? And when she gave it to me, I said, what that means to me is, out of those 300 to 450 people, are you putting their lives in jeopardy just because of $4 million? Is a life worth $4 million? And when I get it, and here's what she said, and she can verify, she said, it's best to have it and not need it than to need it and not have it, okay? And I can say, for us, when we move everybody in there, this building is gonna be operating 24/7, isn't it?
That's correct, sir.
Because that's one of the reasons the military signed on to be in the building, because they can operate. And I'm saying to us, especially if you live, now I know Commissioner Buford know what I'm talking about, okay? Constantly we have either don't drink the water or boil the water, because it's coming from that water place out there on 21. So I'm telling you now, you all, listen, I understand how you want every question answered, but we have to look at what may happen. None of us were prepared for Matthew when it happened, huh? And it cost us $30 million to catch up after it happened. So with that having been said, now I've got everybody. All right, please cast your votes. Cast your votes, y'all. Somebody, I'm waiting on one. All right, so let's move on. Thank you. There are no first readers. There are no first readers, and our second reader, please give me a motion to table until February 27th. All right, motion second. All right, are you ready for the question? All in favor that the second reader be postponed, be tabled until February 27th, please cast your votes. Please cast your votes. Please cast your votes. All right, there we go. All right, Mr. Manager, we're in your hands now.
Yes, sir, Mr. Chairman. First thing I want to remind the commission that we have a special call meeting February 6th, 1 o'clock here. We'll have lunch at 12:30. The meeting will start at 1. And the meeting is going to be topic of the meeting on the agenda is Chatham Area Transit. And then we're going to talk about some pending litigation, go into executive session, talk about pending litigation. That's February 6th, Friday, February 6th at 1 o'clock. The other, and as we talked about in the pre-meeting, our engineering team has been nominated to receive some awards, and I'm going to ask Ms. Cooler to come to the podium to talk about the awards we're receiving and to give you additional information. Ms. Cooler.
All right, let me use a chairman's privilege. All right, all y'all come up here. I saw him come in. All y'all come on. That's engineering. Come on, Ms. Coolidge, you coming up and speak. The manager asked you to speak, but I wanted them to be your backup.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Yes, so I personally am going to receive the Georgia Society of Professional Engineers Engineer of the Year Award in Government. Thank you. But in addition to that, the department is winning the Employer of the Year in Government, which is actually the county, which says a lot about this commission and supporting your engineering department and our professional development. They're recognizing that at a state level, and that's excellent. So kudos to you.
Good job.
All right.
And in addition to that, our airnasiums at Scottsdale Park will win a merit award for engineering excellence at the same event, which is March 6th in Atlanta.
All right.
All right.
All right.
And we want as many of the board members who can attend to attend if you can. Madam Clerk will be getting information to you, and we'll hopefully we'll get the bulk of the commission to attend and show support for our engineering department. That's all I have, Mr.
Please let the clerk know ASAP, all right? So she can make the proper arrangements for
What's
you.
the date on that?
March 6th.
March the 6th.
Don't we have,
We'll be headed for ACCG.
right,
We'll be there from the 4th through the 5th as ACCG, and then this is on the 6th, so you have to stay a night over, one more night. That's why I'm saying she needs to make arrangements, all right?
And it is it's billed as a black tie dinner event, so.
Okay.
Yes, for engineers, believe it or not.
I'll leave the gown on.
You gotta go get jazzy. All right? All right, that's it? All right, there is a need for us to have executive, all right, question, hold on.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Just, Mr. Manager, just wanted to ask about the regional athletic complex. I know we had talked about it going, the design stuff was out to bid at some point, I think September. Where are we on that?
The proposals, they're in, they're being scored now, and hopefully in the next couple of weeks, we'll be able to bring a recommendation to the board.
Okay, thank you, sir.
And you're supposed to have those meetings, right?
Yes.
Okay, all right. So now, there is a need for us to have executive session for appointments and for litigation. All right, let me have a motion to recess to executive session. So move, properly motion to second that we recess into executive session. Please cast your votes before you move. Cast your votes, cast your votes, cast your vote. Recess.